Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I call this meeting to order. Um, Thank you for joining us. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. We are here for the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners Administrative Matters meeting here in the hearing room at the Larimer County Administrative Services Building. I call this meeting and I ask you to please join me by standing in for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for joining us today with the Pledge of Allegiance. I am Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shaddy McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. I welcome you all again to our meeting. Joining me today at the dais are my colleagues, Larimer County Commissioner Kristen Stevens and Larimer County Commissioner John Kafalis. Also, we have our Assistant County Manager, Lori Kadrich, who is at the dais. We also have Lindsay Tracy, who is the clerk to the board for us today. Thank you, Lindsay, for your diligence. We also have Tom Clayton from the Commissioner's Office and the Public Information Office, and we have special person today, Michelle Bird, our Public Information Director. All these titles joining us today to help with the meeting. And thank you all for being here. We have some folks in the audience who we're going to get to in a minute. We're very glad for you all to be here this morning. We're going to start first with public comment. And we have two so far signed up. I will now invite Brian up to the podium. You have 3 minutes. Thank you for being here this morning.
So I wanted to come and talk to you today about the high-speed motorcycles going up and down 287 between Loveland and Fort Collins, and also heading east on 392. I live in the southeast corner of that intersection, and every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, every 15 minutes, there's a bike revving its engine, taking off from the stoplight or whatever at high speeds. There's one day about 2 years ago where a motorcycle at high speed went from Fort Collins to Loveland, and I could hear it going. It got to Loveland, turned around, went back to Fort Collins, okay? It turned around and went back to Loveland, and I called the Highway Patrol. And while I'm on the phone with the Highway Patrol dispatcher, she could hear the bike for the fourth time go from Loveland to Fort Collins, okay, at high rates of speeds. It is annoying, it is asinine, and it needs to be dealt with. It has only gotten worse year after year after year from 2019. It is not being dealt with. I do not see visible highway patrolmen out there. I do not see visible enforcement at all. Maybe it needs to be an unmarked car. Maybe we need to look at a completely different way of doing this, which would be to take them through the emission centers and inspect the bike for the proper muffler, for the proper position of the license plate. You can't even turn in the license plate because the license plate is so small and they're going so fast. You can't read it. Okay? A lot of the license plates are up under the seat. You can't see them. Okay? This is not getting better. It's getting worse. And I don't know why I have to listen to this every 15 minutes on a Friday night, up until like midnight. So I think there's things we need to do. I think the fines apparently the fine for a improper muffler is like $25 for not having the factory muffler on there. So maybe we need to change that to $500. I've heard that the sheriffs are impounding bikes without plates on them. That's a good start. I don't know why this continues to go and grow. It's out. I drive a lot of miles because I commute to Denver. I see it on I-25. I see it on the diagonal to Boulder. I see it on I-70 up in the mountains. It's a statewide problem. And I think the state needs to come up with a way to work on this. And I honestly think they should take them through the emissions center. Have them inspect the bike. If the proper muffler's not on there, ticket them. If the plate's not readable, ticket it. If you get caught speeding, I don't know. I thought, well, at any rate,
Well, I'll give you a sentence to wrap up, please.
okay. I, I thought back in the 80s that if you were caught going 20 miles over the speed limit, I thought you had to go to jail for a while. Like they would take you to the police station. If you're caught doing 140 on
Yeah,
a
that's
motorcycle.
more than a sentence. So
Okay.
thank you for your time.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry your time is up. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming for public comment. Okay, we now have on the agenda, our next public comment person is Eric Sutherland. Please come forward. You have 3 minutes.
Hey, thanks, Eric Sutherland, citizen of Fort Collins. One thing about me is I love being wrong. I love it when I am wrong. When I am wrong, that means the world's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. This is a product of engineering school and engineering jobs, or you're taught there's always something wrong. It's your job to find it and fix it. It's my job. I wish I was wrong about the fact that our country is in the grips of a sadistic cult that's contemptuous of constitutional democracy. But I don't think I'm wrong about that right now. I wish I was really wrong about the legality of tens of millions of dollars every year of property tax being diverted to purposes that really aren't keeping and advancing the public interest. And they're certainly not lawful. I love being wrong, gals. Push back as much as you want. But before you do, could you please understand the law? There's one sentence in all of Colorado law, only one sentence, that creates this property or tax allocation scheme we call TIF. That one sentence not only creates the scheme, it also limits the use of what the property tax that is diverted can do. There's a limitation built right into the same sentence. It's for debt service only. How could you possibly have unallocated cash available in the Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority, Ms. Stevens? It's impossible. How does Lure get... Lure doesn't have any debts. They've never received the proceeds of a loan or a bond sale. They don't make principal and interest payments. Ergo, these diversions are completely inconsistent with the most basic elements of the law, the plain and simple meaning of the statute, as interpreted wisely by our Supreme Court, indicating in dicta that you stray outside these boundaries and you wander off into conflicts with the Constitution. But as it's written right now, it works. Fundamentally, it makes sense to do it that way, but that's not the way it's being done. So lots of talking points here too I really want to mention. We do have the largest school district in the county owing the public taxpayers about $35 million right now because of illegal taxation. Second talking point, state government is finally getting ready to crack down, rein this in so that they can reduce the amount of backfill that they are having to appropriate for school districts. Thanks.
Thanks for your public comment. All right, colleagues, I will see anyone else in the room like to give public comment. All right, Michelle, can we go online, please?
We don't have any online, thank you.
Okay, I will close public comment and see if my colleagues have anything they'd like to add. I'll start with Commissioner Stevens.
Just say thank you to Eric and Brian for bringing these issues to our attention. We'll definitely look into it. Thank you.
Commissioner Kovales.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Echo what Commissioner Stevens has said. The matter regarding the motorcycle speeding on Highway 287 is a law enforcement issue. I know that the Sheriff's Office is looking at different tools for addressing speeding vehicles which occur throughout the county. I would, if you haven't already, Brian, I would encourage you to speak with the sheriff's office, and we have at least one representative here who I'm sure can provide that feedback. With regard to Eric, thank you for sharing your concerns, and I hope we can keep getting closer and closer to what I believe is a really fundamental thing, and that is that the ends and the means need to be aligned as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I don't have anything to add that hasn't already been said, so we'll just go ahead and close public comment. I'll now move on to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Stevens, would you make that motion, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of February 9th, 2026.
Any further discussion or additions or changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thanks. We'll move on to our schedule review, and we have 2 schedules to go through, so we'll have everyone just be patient as we go through 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, 2 schedules. The first one is your draft schedule for February 23rd through the 27th of 2026. On Monday, February 23rd, all day Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C. At 9 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Emergency Medical Trauma Services Advisory Council, Public Policy and Finance Committee special meeting. On Tuesday, February 24th, at 8 a.m., Commissioner Kofalis will attend the Community Health Improvement Plan annual event at the Drake Center. All day, Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Shattuck McNally will continue attending the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. At 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kofalis will attend Leadership Northern Colorado's Elected Officials Roundtable at the Agave Room at 149 West Mountain Avenue. At 6 p.m., Commissioner Kofalis will speak at the Colorado State University Student Chapter of the Wildlife Society meeting, and that is at CSU. On Wednesday, February 25th, at 7 a.m., Commissioner Kofalis and Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting at the Rocky Mountain Innisphere. At 2 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Big Thompson Watershed Health Partners meeting. And at 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session regarding emergency management update in the Commissioners' Conference Room. At 6 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Community Advisory Board meeting. That is a hybrid meeting in person. It will be here at the Carter Lake Conference Room. 6 p.m., Commissioner Kofalis will attend the Stove Prairie School community meeting at Stove Prairie Elementary School. And at 6:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fair Board meeting at the 4-H Youth and Community Building at the Ranch. On Thursday, February 26th at 9 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Fire Commission Prescribed Fire Subcommittee meeting. At 11 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Pine Beetle Presentation meeting. At 11:30, Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Natural Resources, Wildfire, and General Government Governance Committee meetings. At 2 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting. At 3 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise Board meeting. At 5 p.m., Commissioner Kofalis may attend the Livermore School Community meeting at Livermore Elementary School. At 5 p.m., Commissioner Kofalis may also attend the Colorado State University Warner College Council Network Mixer event at the Warner College of Natural Resources. At 5 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Board meeting that is hybrid and then in person at 300 LaPorte Avenue. At 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Open Lands and Parks Advisory Board meeting in Fort Collins. And on Friday, February 27th at 8:30 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Governing Board meeting. At 12 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties Inc. Steering Committee meeting, Legislative Briefing meeting. At 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual State Works Allocation Committee meeting. And then at 5:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Miss Rodeo Colorado Queen 2026 dinner in Berthoud. Do you want to address this, or do you want me to move on to the next calendar? Okay. All right. So your next schedule, since we will not be having administrative matters next week, is for March 2nd through the 6th. On Monday, March 2nd at 10 a.m., there will be a work session regarding the countywide housing needs assessment in the Commissioners' Conference Room. At 11 a.m., there will be a work session for Climate Smart Future Ready update in the Commissioners' Conference Room. And then at 1:30 p.m., we will have a work session with Leslie Ellis, the Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room. On Tuesday, March 3rd at 9 a.m., you will have Administrative Matters, which is this meeting in this room, followed by Legal Matters with the County Attorney. At 1:30 p.m., you'll have Administrative Direction to County Management. At 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Rodeo Board meeting, which is hybrid, and then in person at the 4-H building at the ranch. On Wednesday, March 4th at 7:45 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the City of Fort Collins, Larimer County, and Poudre School District Liaison meeting in Fort Collins. At 8 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Extension Board Advisory meeting, which is hybrid and in person at 1525 Blue Spruce in Fort Collins. At 12:15 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the Colorado Communities for Climate Action Legislative Committee meeting. At 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Regional Opioid Abatement Council Learning Forum. At 1:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Emily Humphrey, Community Justice Alternatives Director, in the Commissioners' Conference Room. And at 4 p.m., commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together all-member meeting, which is hybrid and in person in Denver. On Thursday, March 5th at 7:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will host a community conversation for the Wellington and Waverly committees regarding the Weed District Services, Water Master Plan, Broadband Update, and Owl Canyon Project Update. That will be in Wellington at the T-Bar Inn. At 8:30 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual statewide Transportation Advisory Committee meeting. At 9 a.m., commissioners may attend the Colorado Counties Inc. Steering Committee meetings, that is hybrid and in person in Denver. At 4:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Colorado Communities for Climate Action member gathering event at the Schoolyard Beer Garden in Denver. At 6 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization Planning Council meeting, which is hybrid, and in person in the hearing room, which is this room. On Friday, March 6th at 8 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties Inc. Board meeting. At 8:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. At 8:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the State Board of Human Services meeting, which is hybrid and in person in Denver. At 9 a.m., Commissioner Stevens and Shattuck McNally may attend the Colorado Counties Inc. Steering Committee meetings, which are hybrid and also in person in Denver. And then finally, at 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Regional Air Quality Council Board meeting, which is hybrid and in person in Denver.
Thank you, Michelle. Commissioner Stevens, do you have any additions or changes?
I do, Madam Chair. So on, let's see, we'll go back to Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. I will likely attend that Stove Prairie school meeting with Commissioner Kafalis in lieu of going to the Fair Board meeting. And then, let me take a look. On the following week, I believe we have the Upper Front Range Transportation Region meeting from 1 to 4 on Thursday, March 5th, 2026. And we are hosting both that meeting and the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization Planning Council meeting. So I also invite my colleagues to attend those meetings if you want to learn more about what we're doing in the regionally in transportation. And then I will not be attending that Communities for Climate Action gathering at the Schoolyard Beer Garden because we have those transportation meetings that day. And that is all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Real quick, can I have you clarify again which one you said you invited us to attend?
So it's not on the schedule, but I believe that it's the quarterly meeting for the Upper Front Range TPR, so the Transportation Planning Region meeting from 1 to 4 on Thursday. And I think that's in the hearing room or one of the rooms here. And then the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization will be meeting in this building from 6 to 8 or 6 to 9 on March 5th. So.
Okay, Commissioner Kafalis, thank you.
Thank you. Just one thing. The February 24th participation in the CSU Warner College networking mixer event. I will not be attending that. It's at 5 o'clock on February 26th, excuse me. That's a Thursday, so I will not be attending that so that I might go up to Livermore. And also I swapped that mixer event. I don't do well in big crowds anymore. Speaking with the class 2 days before, or the Wildlife Society chapter. So that's all, just not going to that mixer.
Okay. First, Michelle, I am involved on Saturday, February 28th, 2026, at Love. Kids Pack has their annual massive food drive, which I was in the inaugural one as one of the store captains, and I will be helping out from 8:45 till probably about 11:30. And that will be at one of the King Supers in Loveland, depending on where the need is. And folks in Loveland, they certainly need some extra help at the stores. And then I'm assuming I might end up spending some more time because they are looking for volunteers. So that's one that I need to add on that day. And then I might stop by. I may not attend, but I will stop by that Upper Front Range and the MPO meetings on the 5th, and then the one on the Thursday, just to say hello and just so I will be there. I just probably should mention that. That, and I appreciate Commissioner Stevens sharing that. And then there's lots of meetings. I don't need to put them all on the calendar, but also when we talk about Friday, March 6th at 8:30, it's not May, it's Will, because I chair that meeting, and so I have to be there. So just want to make sure it's not May, it's Will, because those are important meetings. And I think that's all I have for now. So thanks. Okay, moving on. We have our consent agenda, which the consent agenda consists of items of no perceived controversy and routine administrative actions such as abatements, agreements, final deeds, final plats, liquor license resolutions, and other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners, and staff recommends approval of the consent agenda. A commissioner may request that an item be pulled off the agenda and considered separately, and those items pulled from the agenda will be considered after the board takes action on the remainder of the consent agenda. So I'll read very briefly from the consent agenda, but for anybody in the public or online or in person, if you want to go and get more details, all of the details from the consent agenda are listed on our website for the Board of County Commissioners under today's administrative matters agenda. So first we have two abatements for under abatements, we have two petitions for abatement or refund of taxes. And I won't go into all those details. Like I said, you can read that. We have three agreements. The first is a development agreement for the New Buyer Conservation District, file number 22-LAND 4225. And this is the request of approval of the development agreement for this conservation development, and it has all the details are there. Our second one is an intergovernmental agreement between Larimer County Telephone Authority and the Larimer County for Regional Radio Consoles Maintenance Services, and that is between the LEDA and Larimer County will enter an agreement to provide support for all 911 radio consoles in Larimer County, and that includes the Sheriff's Office, Loveland Police, Estes Park Police, CSU Police, and Fort Collins Police, and also brings a technician to the communications team, and this will go through December 2026. Okay, and then we have also amendment number 1 to amend and reinstate professional services and operational agreement for the behavioral health health facility, and this is just approval for amendment in the service agreement for the Summerstone Health Partners that provides the services at our Longview Acute Care Facility. And that will go through December 31st of 2028. We have two liquor licenses. One is a liquor license renewal for JJ Bar and Grill LLC, doing business as JJ's Bar and Grill. And then we also have of the liquor license renewal of Oral Loveland LLC, doing business as Best Western Plus Loveland in Loveland, Colorado. Miscellaneous, we have our Larimer County legislative positions, and these are just official positions on 2 legislative bills, and those are now logged on to the Secretary of State's website. And then we have the Treasurer's report, supported by our Treasurer and Public Trustee, Irene Drosy. And this is the Treasurer furnishes a semi-annual report to the Board of County Commissioners according to Colorado Revised Statute 30-25-111. 2, and it's just the duty of the Board of County Commissioners of each county to publish some legal newspaper published in the county of the semi-annual financial statements that is furnished to the board by the county treasurer. And there's more details about that, like I said, online. We have 5 submittals for stipulation to as tax year 2025 value. I won't read through all of those. And then we have a resolution establishing compensation for the district attorney investigator. And this is an administrative matter for the district attorney's office. And so that's what we have on the agenda. Is there any items my colleagues wish to pull? So I will now ask Commissioner Gonzalez to make that motion, please.
Yes, I move to approve the consent agenda for February 17th, 2026.
Thank you for that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you. 3-0. We pass that agenda, and now we're just want to ask any guests. No. Okay. And now we'll go to our discussion items. And we have an item up here. Thank you, Jessica. Thanks for being here. We have on our discussion items a request to formally recognize Engineers Week and acknowledge the essential role engineers and public works professionals play in serving and protecting the Larimer County community. I will invite Director Leslie Ellis up to the podium, who will read and present this. And we also are joined by our new engineering director of engineering, Nicole Hahn. So Leslie, thank you for being here today.
Yes, good morning, commissioners, and thank you. It is my immense honor to be here to recognize Engineers Week and our team of engineers who are here today, who are often working behind the scenes and not necessarily having the opportunity to be recognized in person. For centuries, engineers have applied ingenuity to make our communities safer and more resilient. And in fact, the concept of civilization and engineering are very intertwined. And I think in a public service organization like this, that mission is very evident every day in the work that we do here at the work in our engineering team. For instance, our engineers here at Larimer County work on designs for transportation that connect people across bridges to school and so forth, provide services for stormwater and floodplains to increase resilience again in the community, keep us safe. They support multiple departments on projects in our own organization, at the ranch, at solid waste, at natural resources. They also are a critical part of our development review team and ensuring that private development is done safely and meets our standards. And then they also provide support for private subdivisions in forming local improvement districts and accomplishing their maintenance goals and needs. That's just a small snapshot of the work. And for our team here today, their work is really critical to the backbone of, and is really part of the backbone of our community here. So I'm pleased to recognize this team of engineers and the fine folks behind me. Their work is so critical, and we thank them for their precision and their dedication to the community here in Larimer County. I'm going to invite Nicole to make just a couple comments too, and then we'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie. Welcome, Nicole.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I want to thank you for taking the time to recognize Engineers Week and to celebrate some of the people who serve Larimer County. Engineering and local government is about public service, and it's a team effort here in Larimer County. It includes our engineers, technicians, surveyors, inspectors, our maintenance and operations crews, project managers, construction managers, administrative professionals, and many more who all deliver safe and reliable infrastructure for our community. I've been here for a little over a week now, so I get to take no credit for all the amazing work that they do, but I will say I'm incredibly impressed by the talent and dedication that this team has. And on behalf of our entire team, we want to thank you for taking a moment to recognize and your continued support for the work that they do.
Thank you, Nicole and Leslie. We appreciate that. And I 1,000% echo your comments. We're very fortunate. And I think this is the first time we've done this, or not for a while. So we're really glad to do this today. Is it the first time, I think? Yeah, so I wanted to make note of that. First time we've done this. And I think it's time, because we rely a lot for the subject matter expertise. So I'm going to turn this over to Commissioner Stevens. Oh, actually, I'm going to let you go last, because you make the motion, and then we can make comments. But Commissioner Kvalis, did you have any comments or questions you'd like to do before we meet the motion?
Have we read the proclamation? Are we?
Would you like me to change up the order? And I was going to let her make.
Please follow the order, whatever.
So we'll just go ahead and make your. If you have any questions or comments, please start, sir. And I just like to have you do it now. So.
Sure. Just echo what Leslie and Nicole have said. You can tell when it's a room full of engineers, because they're all sitting there rather serious looking, wanting to get back to their computers and all of the rest. So I certainly do appreciate very much that we're able to acknowledge your behind the scenes work, which is really critical. I think, Leslie, you may have used the term backbone. You cited a number of roles that the engineering department plays. We would be remiss if we didn't do a bit of a shout out for our outgoing county engineer, Mark Peterson, who will be celebrating in a few weeks, I believe. But just thank you, gratitude to all you folks, and I certainly appreciate our PID administrator, who works very diligently to try to keep things in order. And that is actually really important, to make sure that folks understand if it's a private subdivision, there are limits to what the county can do. And the public improvement district concept model is one way of addressing infrastructure needs. And so transportation is critical in so many ways: health, care, access, economic development. And the engineers make sure that we're reminded of Pythagorean theorem and right triangles, and I think it's more than geometry, I believe, but that's all I can recollect. That's it. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you.
Commissioner Stevens, I'm going to make comments, and I'm going to let you make comments and read the motion. And actually, I have Lori Cadrich is going to do a little different order today, just roll down. So I'm going to make some comments and have you, Lori, add, because I know you used to oversee this department, so I know you might have some things to say. And I'm really, again, proud we're doing this today. And again, welcome, Nicole. And I echo Commissioner Kvalis' statement. We're very proud of the long-term legacy and service to this county. Mark Peterson, if you think about it, and I don't see him, but he's been through 2 major floods, several massive wildfires, and been a part of reconstructing and all of the work for the recovery in a county that has had a lot of challenges. And you think, I sometimes when I drive up Glen Haven after that was reconstructed, I heard some of the stories of how quickly and well what that was done, and that takes a lot of extra time and focus. And he's created a great team. He has dozens of PIDs, and I know he's really empowered a wonderful team that does great work. And so I want to thank him again for his long-term service, a well-deserved retirement. And I know he loves to spend more time with his family, but I think of all the things that he has seen the county through and been there behind the scenes, very soft-spoken, not, really important work. So, and I know, Nicole, you're going to just do amazing work. We're really glad to have you here. But I think when we look at engineers, I have one that started off as bachelor's in engineering. He loves engineering, but he ended up medicine. But mechanics of bodies or engineering, and he's got some published work like that. And it's interesting. We have discussions, and it's always that mindset of a different way of looking at things that I value with all of the conversations. And I have mathematicians and physicists in my family, and sometimes I'm just trying to keep up with them all because their minds are so amazing how they think about the critical thinking and things. But I think in regards to Engineering Week, especially for our public works, it takes this moment to really bring forward to the public and bring awareness for the highlighting the critical and often unseen impact of infrastructure on our daily lives, safe roads, same culverts, safe bridges, all those things. And really, our engineering, just like I mentioned with Mark, they're building the future and the future safety of our community, ensuring public safety and transforming our natural resources. And even our natural resources, it's very much important in engineering what we do there to have a very safe impact. And all of this is for our human benefit, but also our wildlife and our environmental and natural benefit, because you think about the overpasses, the natural one that's just got for the wildlife over on the western slope, and just the amazing work that's done. I think it's really important that we take this moment to honor the dedication and really professional services who just really maintain and design and build our community. So kudos to all of you. And I always think about civilization. We have all these great ideas and artists and all these big thinkers, but really the story of engineering is kind of that long, diligent, and I wouldn't say tedious, but very attention to detail, making sense and taking those ideas and building them out. So I think that's really an important thing to highlight. So, Lori, I'll let you make a few comments, and then we'll have Commissioner Stevens read the motion and read the proclamation and make the motion, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. The only thing that I can think of to add, because both of your comments were very comprehensive, is that this week reminds me of the history of communities and when they formed. And nearly in all communities, when they became cities and or incorporated areas, engineers led the way. And they led the way because infrastructure is one of the core issues that face every community that's beginning to form. And so over time, engineers have always been a part of the communities. And I think it's just been in recent time that they've kind of been a hidden gem in organizations. Before that, they were the reasons that cities and county formed. And I just want to thank our group. I think we have an exceptional group, and I really appreciate all the work that they have done. And welcome Nicole to the position of county engineer.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate those comments as well. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, I'll be brief since a lot has already been said, but I'm just really grateful for all of you for the work that you do. I do a lot of the work in transportation for the county, and so I am always really happy to have at my side engineers that I can rely on and ask questions of. I've only felt support from the group of engineers in Larimer County as I've done that work, and that's been really good because while I understand how to fund transportation, or sort of, it's not easy to fund, but I do not understand the mechanics of it, and so I am really grateful for having that expertise as I do my work. And yeah, obviously, the important infrastructure projects that we have across the county. I mean, you are the reason we have those good, safe projects to take care of our community. So I am really grateful. And just really also grateful for the responsiveness that I've always had from the engineering staff, because, we have community members that ask a lot of questions or have concerns, or, whether it's their roads or flooding that happens. And the engineering staff has always, to a person, been just very responsive to the residents with their questions. I had a trip that I took up to Stove Prairie to talk to folks. And folks were very much more interested in talking to the engineering staff about the road than they were talking to me, which is fine. I get it, but they felt heard, and and you all had answers for them about when their projects would be completed and what those projects look like and how they would prevent further flooding on the Buckhorn. And so just my experience has been nothing but great with our engineering staff, and I am so grateful for all the work you do. I'm sorry that you're unsung heroes. This is an opportunity to correct that and make sure that you get the acknowledgement that you all deserve. And I guess I forgot to wear a plaid shirt because that seems to be the uniform. But thank you all, and really, really grateful for your work.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you read the proclamation and make the motion, please? Thank you.
Absolutely. Whereas excuse me, let me clear my throat first. Whereas engineers play a vital role in protecting public health, safety, and welfare by planning, designing, constructing, and maintaining the infrastructure systems that serve our communities, and whereas the infrastructure of Larimer County, including roads, bridges, stormwater systems, utilities, buildings, and public facilities, quite literally connect our communities, supports our economic vitality, and enhances quality of life for residents and visitors alike. And whereas the work of engineers requires technical excellence, innovation, collaboration, and a steadfast commitment to responsible stewardship of public resources, and whereas Larimer County engineers work in partnership with municipalities, state and federal agencies, regional organizations, private industry, and community members to thoughtfully manage growth, preserve natural resources, and build resilient systems for future generations. And whereas Engineers Week is a nationwide celebration dedicated to recognizing the contributions of engineers and inspiring the next generation of problem solvers and public servants, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners wishes to recognize and thank the professional engineers, technicians, surveyors, inspectors, and public work professionals who serve Larimer County with integrity, accountability, and dedication, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County hereby designate the week of February 22nd through 28th, 2026 as Engineers Week in Larimer County, and encourages all residents to recognize and celebrate the important contributions engineers make in strengthening our infrastructure, safeguarding our environment, and connecting our communities. And the motion is, I move to approve the proclamation declaring the week of February 22nd through February 28th, 2026 as Engineers Week.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens, and I appreciate all the comments. Any further comments? Just express our gratitude again, and we're very grateful for the partnership and collaboration. All those in favor for the motion on the table? Aye.
Aye.
All right, folks joining us online, we're going to pause just for a moment so we can take a picture. Thank you all for your patience as we took a moment to honor our county engineers and staff with a proclamation, our first ever for engineering month or week. I think it's Engineer Week, and we're very glad to have that. So we're going to move on through the rest of our agenda. We have no other discussion items, so we will now look for the county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. The county manager has nothing to report this week.
Okay, well, that was easy. Now we'll move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Foss.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just mention one thing. Last Thursday, we traveled to the state capitol to do the Sergeant John Jack Thurman Memorial Highway resolution. It was a really wonderful morning. It was a great event. His daughter Karen, her husband, and a high school intern, the four of us traveled together. And it was just an all-around great morning. And the resolution was great. A lot of detail that I wasn't aware of. I raised this in part because it was a wonderful celebration. Took a tour of the Capitol. Met a lot of old friends and colleagues down there. We were on the Senate floor. But also, apparently, we're going to need to raise some money to get those signs put up on Highway 34. So that's something that we should all be thinking about, how we might be able to help that cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, I'll be brief as well. Just wanted to mention that on Wednesday we met with Planning Commission. We had a really great conversation on how we go forward in managing events in the county. Some of those events can be disruptive, but we also want to create a sense of community. So there's a lot of talk about how we balance, neighbors' needs and noise and other kinds of needs with the need to get together and celebrate. So I think that was a great conversation, and we'll look forward to seeing kind of what new regulations will come forward and what will come forward as far as our land use code with regard to events. On Thursday, I attended the DDA board meeting. That's a downtown development authority in Fort Collins. And many people may know that they're responsible for all the alleys. And, if you walk through an alley in Fort Collins, they're quite nice and beautiful and not foreboding and scary. And that has been very intentional work that the DDA has done. And with that same intention is the DDA is looking at safety. So a lot of people cross mid block as they come out of the alleyways. And so how do we create safe walk spaces across some of these streets that connect our alleyways? And so the DDA is doing a study, and we allocated a little over $100,000 of DDA dollars to do a study to see what alleyways need safety protections and need crosswalks. And so we'll look forward to seeing what work can be done there. In keeping with Infrastructure Week, infrastructure that keeps people safe is always important. And then finally on Friday, attended the Housing and Transportation Committees for CCAT. And we are trying to support some housing and transportation bills at the Capitol. There are a lot of great housing bills. There are some that need some tweaks, but they are all bills that hopefully will support affordable housing in our communities. And so we want to be as supportive as we can to build more affordable housing. And some of that we're getting some help from the state with that. So we will keep an eye on those bills and see how we can be supportive, or if they need to be changed, how we can make amendments that make those bills better for local communities. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. I have a few items to share. On Tuesday, February 10th, we had our Love and Urban Renewal Authority meeting. I did not run again after 2 years of being chair. I'm not chair anymore, which might be a nice little break for that. We did have a long meeting, lots of questions for the Ernst & Young accounting firm who came and answered our questions, and those questions and some of that work continues. I also, on the 11th, I agree with Commissioner Stevens. It was a really productive and great meeting with the Planning Commission. We had our governing board meeting for Colorado Counties Commissioners and Counties Acting Together, CCAP meeting. And then I jumped into the Colorado Forest Health Council quarterly meeting, which was online. And it was our full council meeting where we had a lot of discussions regarding the implementation of the 30-year vision for forest health for the state of Colorado, the pine beetle outbreak, and I wanted to share with you all that I found out Friday that I have been appointed by the governor to the task force for the mountain pine beetle outbreak, along with Commissioner Dan Williams of Teller County. And so those were important meetings. And then I did attend the CCI work group on House Bill 101008 for amendments to the outdoor opportunities legislation that I continued to provide kind of Larimer County's perspectives on those, and that bill is having a lot of discussion. On Thursday, I was very fortunate as I sit on the governor appointed to the State Emergency Medical and Trauma Services Advisory Council. I rode along with one of the paramedics who's also in charge of the Northeastern, what they call the Regional Emergency Advisory Trauma Committee, and there's several in the state, and they kind of oversee EMS systems. And so I got to ride along and saw a variety of calls in Loveland and Fort Collins, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And it was great to see the Yuma County had their ambulance there. That county runs their ambulance service, and Nick was very familiar because he actually works and paid out of Yuma County. It's a very unique structure, and a lot of people in the state maybe not understand how the regions and the state works, but this is all integrated, especially for real EMS, and also it has overlap here in Fort Collins. And there's just a lot, as everyone knows, where almost every local government or entity I know is having shrinking resources and budgets and more need. And so that's a common theme. We had our Office on Aging Advisory Council meeting, which was very interesting. We had this Alliance for Suicide Prevention come and do a great presentation and try to empower folks to, they are able to do training at any age. And I had shared the story of, I had done a mental health month for mental health awareness in May, and had taken some training up for suicide prevention and Narcan training up to Estes Park, and I had an 81-year-old gentleman come and take that training, and he never thought he'd be even interested in something like that, but he felt so empowered to be able to talk to folks in his community. And so it was it's just really a good reminder anyone can save a life, and it's important to understand the resources you have. We did attend, Commissioner Kafalis and I had attended the Realities for Children, the Healing Sanctuary Phase 1, which is the private therapy barn unveiling, and we were able to join Realities for Children and several of the other folks who have funded that barn, and all the people had donated their resources and time, and we, as a board of county commissioners, had donated for the therapy gardens, the interactive gardens, and there was that is the next phase, and we'll probably get to go back and see those, but it was very interesting to learn and actually interact with some of the animals, the miniature donkeys and the Highland cows, and then I forgot the name of the sheep, which I've never seen the sheep with those kind of horns, and I'll have to remember what that is. But the sheep had her baby there, and they were very gentle and kind, and we had a lot of great conversations with a lot of folks, and I appreciate the invitation for us to have a recognition, but also to celebrate, as this is to help with children who are going through healing and recovery from child abuse and other traumatic things in their childhood. So this was a really good night for celebration, and I look forward to seeing the gardens. And there's a lot going on in that campus, which is between Loveland and Fort Collins. On Friday, we had the CCAT County Revenue Working Group, where we're still trying to talk about our revenue streams for county revenue, and a really robust conversation. And I appreciate everyone's work on that. And then I attended, Commissioner Stevens helped chair the Transportation Committee, but we had the CCAP meeting for housing and policy and transportation, and that was a full meeting. And then at the end of the day, we had the CCI Renewable Energy Working Group, which is working on trying to come up with an alternative to a bill that might come out of the governor's office. And so that conversation is still ongoing and important. And we're working on alternatives to that legislation and some language with industry leaders who actually approached the county commissioners first, which I wanted to make note of that the industry has come and tried to really work hard and make a good connection with county commissioners. So I thought that was important to share. I attended the legislative town hall with our legislators from Larimer County. They had a town hall, and it was some really good, important conversations as the state legislature is also trying to share some of these fiscal and budget restraints that I think it's important for members of the public to understand. They did take quite a few robust questions, and I appreciate them also recognizing that this also impacts the county. And then lastly, I'll just share, as I have over the last 8 years on President's Day, I got invited to the Makwa chapter of the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, student recognition and patriotic tea, and they have students write essays about a certain topic about being, they say, a good citizen, and it was really centered on the anniversary of the 250th anniversary of our great nation and the 150th anniversary of our great state of Colorado becoming a state. And I'll just note that Larimer County is one of the original 11 counties for the territory, and we're older than the state government. So it's always a fun fact, and a lot of people were always surprised to learn that. And I was sharing that at the tea, and they have some younger women who are serving as vice regents, and I really like to see a lot of the younger women involved with the Daughters of the American Revolution. But I have to say, the young woman who wrote the essay, who won, who was having it go on to the state competition, I was so inspired by her amazing essay. And after the state competition, I really would love to get a copy of that and let you read it. It was just so inspiring for a young woman to have, because they don't get any help. They have to sit down in a room with only a dictionary and pencil and write these essays. No help with anything. And the things she knew about the articles of the federal papers and what she wrote about was just, it just blew me away. So I just want to say to folks in the community, if you haven't talked to a young high school person who's looking to move on after high school, no matter what pathway in life, there's some amazing youth in our community who really honor and value the great freedoms in this country, and are just amazing folks. And I hope they get a chance to talk to some of them, because they certainly lifted my spirits yesterday. So that's all I have. We don't have any other legal matters or executive sessions today. So at 9:57, we are adjourned. Thank you.